Sigmund Freud, also known as the father of psychoanalysis, was an Austrian neurologist. He was also a medical doctor, psychologist, and influential thinker. However, he was best known for developing the theories and techniques of psychoanalysis, often known as the talking cure, which is a method for treating mental illness through verbal interactions. Freud distinguished himself as an intellectual giant. He introduced new techniques for understanding human behavior, which eventually became very successful. Freud was able to describe the mind's structure and function through a topographic model of the brain.
He was able to make these discoveries through the infamous case of Anna O, whose real name was Bertha Pappenheim. She suffered from hysteria, which is a psychological disorder whose physical symptoms such as paralysis, hallucinations, and loss of speech are a result of psychological stress from past events. Her doctor, Joseph Brewer, was able to treat Anna's condition by helping her to recall memories of traumatic events that were forgotten. As soon as she became aware of these memories, her physical symptoms disappeared. Brewer was a good friend of Freud and had shared the details of this case with him. After these discussions, Freud went on to write studies in hysteria and was able to revolutionize a new theory of the human psyche.
Freud proposed that the physical symptoms are often the surface manifestations of deeply repressed conflicts.
There are two states of mind, the conscious and the unconscious. The conscious mind is the part of the brain that does most of your thinking and logical reasoning. It's a part of the brain that people around you associate with because it controls your thoughts, speech, and physical movement. Two of the most important functions of the conscious mind are that it can direct your ability to focus and imagine. However, your conscious mind is not always aware, and an example of this is when you are asleep or under anesthetics. At this time, it is the less conscious parts of the brain that dominate most of its activity, but this is not to say that this is the only time when your unconscious is at work. It functions all the time in cooperation with the conscious mind. The less conscious mind is divided into two similar domains, the subconscious and the unconscious minds, both of which have nearly identical tasks which deal with memories, habits, emotions, and behaviors. The primary distinction between the two is that the subconscious holds short-term memories which are easy to access, such as your phone number or your address, whereas the unconscious mind stores long-term memories which are out of reach to your conscious. These include all childhood memories and experiences, whether happy or traumatic, that you thought were long forgotten. Such memories could be revived when triggered by one or more of the five senses, and it is from these memories that your beliefs, habits, and behaviors are derived. When memories are brought to the conscious mind, oftentimes they are accompanied by emotions which are discharged by the unconscious mind.
Twani, what you looking at out there? What you looking at? That's it. Give me some sugar. Now get on downstairs. What did I say? Get on downstairs. In that basement and drop them.
Antoine shares explicit details about traumatic childhood events in which he was sexually molested by his babysitter. Once these unconscious memories were brought into the light of his conscious mind through his friend's jokes about his sexuality, he realized that it was because of his abusive childhood that he refrained from being in an intimate relationship with a woman, even after so many years.
One of Sigmund Freud's most important concepts was that the psyche, or better known as personality, is constructed of three parts that develop at different stages of your life. The first being the id, followed by the ego, and finally the superego. The id is the impulsive aspect of the psyche that acts on instincts and is functional within the unconscious part of the mind, causing it to be isolated and therefore not affected by reality, logic, or the everyday world. The pleasure principle, introduced by Freud, is what drives the id. It is the idea that any desire or demand must be satisfied immediately in spite of the consequences that may arise. Once the request has been fulfilled, you experience pleasure. However, if the id was denied its wish, you will experience dissatisfaction.
Tell me again, what is it you say to yourself that gives you the right to take somebody else's car?
I don't say anything to myself. I just say, all right, there's a car. There's some keys right in front of me. I know where the car at.
You know where the car is. Okay, so you just take it and you don't consider that it belongs to someone else?
No. Your keys in my room, you asking for it. You don't leave your keys in someone's room when they've stolen cars before. Like, you asking for it. Catch me outside. How about that?
Catch you outside?
In this example, the subject, Danielle, exhibits behaviors that are irrational and illogical. She is able to satisfy her id by stealing cars and by speaking on impulse towards the audience. The ego is the logical aspect of the psyche that acts on reason by providing the id with its desires and, in the process, refrains from negative consequences. Similar to the id, the ego also strives to achieve pleasure. However, it does so using a realistic approach that has no concept of right or wrong. If the ego fails to attain pleasure through one strategy, then it will figure out an alternative solution which helps you to demonstrate self-control. The final stage of psychological development is the superego, which operates on the morals you acquire from your parents and society. The superego tries to oppose the id's impulsive demands, especially those thought to be socially unethical, such as sex or aggression. If the ego gives in to the id's demands, then the superego will punish it by making you feel guilty. It aspires to achieve a result that benefits society through selflessness.
The next example will demonstrate these three stages of the psyche through Justin Bieber's interactions with his fans. The first is the id. The Biebs acts irrationally by charging his adoring fans up to $2,000 for a meet and greet. This selfish behavior is characterized by the pleasure principle, in which he satisfies the id's demand for wealth, however at the expense of his heartbroken fans. Then comes the ego. JB later abandons the pricey meet and greet and decides to interact with his fans for free. This action proved to be logical since he still acquired his wealth through the concerts, all while avoiding disappointed believers. Finally, the superego. In 2016, Justin donates $10,000 to a music program at Tulsa Central High School in Oklahoma and provides 19,000 staff and students with free tickets to his concert. This selfless deed showcased his morals as he puts his desire for wealth aside and donates the money to a depleted school, ultimately serving the needs of society.
Is it too late now to say sorry? 'Cause I'm